And, of course, standing by right now is the president of the Manitoba Métis Federation, David Chartrand.
Good afternoon.
Hello,
Hi, President David Chartrand.
Good to hear your mom and dad.
Oh, I know.
The world has Johnny Cash in June, and we got your mom and dad. So.
Yeah, we're very fortunate.
Yeah, no, they've done that song so well for so many years, and great to hear. Your mom still got the voice, I tell you that, even your dad.
Thank you, Dave. Thank you.
Losing it more, but your mom still carries on.
Yeah, they're.
And now, go ahead, Ollie.
What's that?
I said, go ahead. Are you going to say something? I cut you off.
No, I was waiting. I was waiting for you to say something.
Okay. Well, I missed last week. I want to apologize to everybody, and a lot of people do like the reports, updates, what's going on in the Federation and our government, and where we're leading our nation forward to, and what are some of the key issues and some of the key programs that we're working on or putting them into operation. Mm-hmm. And so our people actually like listening to my reports, updates, and I've been doing that for 28 years.
Yes.
Of course, with the great legendary St. Germain. Mm-hmm. And Naomi's sick now, so thank God we have you, Ollie, to replace and bring in your great voice into the show.
My pleasure.
And, of course, we always have Cowboy. NCI is nothing without Cowboy.
Mm-hmm,
so
that's
let
true.
me go back. We have a guest, Donovan Robinson, coming on, and I'll let him talk about his business, and I'm proud of our Métis entrepreneurs. I think we got 876 registered in our registry.
More.
And all those 876 or even more are eligible now to be part of the procurement program that Canada offers. And we can guarantee Canada that our businesses that do bid for any federal contracts that come out, that they are authentically, without doubt, Métis-run businesses. So that's something we're very proud of. And I think Lauren, of course, and the team, Felchi and the rest of the team that lobbied so hard, and we lobbied for years and years and years to get our registry in place, because our businesses were not registered based on the system they had. And as we all know, how much fraud was committed when Canada ran it, because they didn't do the due diligence like we do. So First Nations are also looking at that and trying to establish how they will put a registry in place which will be authentically recognized by them. I talked to Grand Chief Daniels. He's looking at that in a serious context. But to get all the businesses signed up is a challenge. And so, like, for example, you'll have today Donovan, who will talk about, again, a lot of stuff technology-wise that I'm not aware of, but he does a lot of different aspects of his business. So, Donovan, welcome on the show. I believe you're coming in at 20 to 1. Now, let me say happy birthday, because I missed so many of them last time, and I got a little bit of grumbles from some of them, including my sister. So she had her birthday, and I didn't, of course, acknowledge it because I wasn't on Métis Hour. But happy birthday is going to my nephew, Walter Chartrand Jr., who will celebrate his birthday on Saturday, November 1st. Happy 17th birthday going to my great-nephew, Little Rich Janai, who is celebrating his birthday on Sunday, November 2nd, a great hockey player. Probably one day could make it. And they're going to be saying, like, I'm like Judy Mayer, I'm just mentioning family after family. So, but again, happy birthday to my sister, Rita Chartrand. That's the one who was grumbling about it. I didn't say happy birthday last weekend, and I will buy her something for her birthday when I come out there to see her. And so, of course, happy birthday. And my sister, I'm very proud of her, a very brave woman. She fought cancer, and, she lost both of her breasts and survived. And she was proud of it, and that she fought the fight, and she wouldn't give up. And when they rang the bell, that she's now passed and out of danger.
She's a tough girl.
She's proven to me that you believe in things, stand firm, stand strong, and make clear that only the good Lord will decide when you're going to leave, but fight the fight if you have to, because she's got a lot of responsibility with her grandchildren and so much challenges she does face. So happy birthday again to my sister, and for fighting cancer and surviving. So happy 58th birthday is going to Amanda Boudreau, that worked in my office forever with me. She's my executive assistant. She doesn't want to put her age in here. Oh, no, it's there, 58 years old. Oh, she's getting old. Anyways, happy birthday, Amanda, if you're listening. And, of course, she believes she's always going to look young. So, anyways, happy 65th birthday is going to Hilda Bushy, Duck Bay, who is celebrating her birthday on Sunday, November 9th. And, of course, Hilda has been working on the wood project, delivering free wood to our elders across the regions and in the central part of our province. And so I want to kudos to her. And she works so hard, and they make sure our elders get their free wood as soon as possible. So right now we're pushing hard to a delivery for the wood to be arriving both in Duck Bay, Chartrand, and then probably we would expect it just outside of Selkirk there. So anyway, then I know they started delivering some already, and I hope it gets into the houses as soon as possible. Happy birthday is going to Doug Forgy, that's Betty Forgy's husband of St. Eustache, who is celebrating his birthday on Thursday, November 9th. Happy birthday. Going again to Doug. Happy birthday to my nephew, Curtis Chartrand, who is celebrating his birthday on Thursday, November 13th. He works actually, my brother, of course, Alberta Pass, that's his son, and he works out in Alberta. He works in the oil fields. And so, yeah, sometimes he has some breaks to come home, but he's been working in oil fields for a long time. In fact, his half-brother, Thomas, is with me here in my holidays. So he's here listening on the other side, listening to the show. So happy birthday is also going out to Chris Yates, who's celebrating his birthday on Thursday, November 13th. Now, that reminds me that this whole issue of November 16 around the corner, and I'll go back to Veterans right after that. But let's not forget we have a great remembrance of recognizing a great man, a man that brought Manitoba to the Confederation, a man that protected Métis, First Nations, and all those others that lived in the prairies when nobody else cared, especially Eastern Canada did not care of the people that existed out in the prairies. And all they wanted was put a rail line, of course, in the days of Johnny MacDonald. A rail line at that time was from sea to sea. Now we say from sea to sea to sea because we include Hudson Bay. And so when you look at it overall, I'm just proud to say that we have made sure that as we moved forward on recognizing Riel, we worked hard and we finally were seeing what really impressed me really all on this is that in our pursuit to get justice for Riel, throughout time we had Joe Clarke, Brian Mulroney, and others who were recognizing Riel as the father of Manitoba, especially Joe Clarke was pushing hard on that. And then we got to Manitoba, we got always pushed back. And finally, we got a First Nation premier who did the right thing and recognized him as the father of Manitoba. And, of course, we got support from other political parties in the meantime. But it was great. It took us so long to recognize the true father of Manitoba, which we all know is Louis Riel. He was, of course, portrayed as a rebel, a traitor, somebody that they wanted to kill and destroy because he stood up against Canada and said, no, this is our land, this is the heart of our homeland, and this is where our people live, including First Nations. And one of the things I keep on reminding, I had a chance to speak at the Southern Chiefs Organization at their economic conference, and I want to thank Grand Chief Daniels for inviting me, and I had a chance to speak and reflect my position on how Riel played such a significant role in making it very clear that at the time of the development of the province of Manitoba, there were certain conditions Riel placed. And one of them that he demanded had to be, and one of the bullets that he demanded had to be approved by Canada was the establishment of the treaties for First Nations. Of course, the word Indian was used then, and Riel demanded that be part of the establishment of the treaties of the First Nations. And of course, I said the word Indian was used at that time. But that our recognition of our treaty, negotiation to our treaty, happened in 1870, and the First Nations, because of Riel's push and demands, it started the 1 year after us in 1871. So again, I reminded the First Nations, why is it that there are some chiefs that really want to work against us or want to recognize our existence, our rights, and there's others, of course, that respect our relationship and our long-term commitment made by Louis Riel 140 years ago. So, well, that's before 140 years ago, because 140 years ago is when they executed him and murdered him, and that's why we celebrate November 16th. And this was established in 1870, which is another 15 years added on to the 155 years ago that he negotiated the Manitoba Act and demanded the treaty be established for First Nations because the country was trying to wipe them completely out and rid them of their existence. So the Métis stood up and defend, and some First Nations stood with us. And it was one era was another particular chief that stood with Riel, and he was buried actually beside Riel in the First Nation band out of Saskatchewan. Came back and get his body and took it home to where he belonged in his own territory out in Saskatchewan. But our event on Riel starts at 10:30 in the morning, and to accommodate the Grey Cup. So again, after that, we're going to, after Riel Grey Site, of course, everybody knows it's St. Boniface. Then we're going to be gathering at 200 Main. Then following that, we have a hell of an event. Of course, we have the Grey Cup coming in. The Grey Cup is going to take place And there's events throughout this week that we're involved in. We're a platinum sponsor, and we keep on showing our support to our province, our economic support through businesses, including the governments, the city of Winnipeg, and the province, the beautiful province we help create. We have great support for it. So when you look at the process again for us doing these things, it's important that we recognize that we are not looking for handouts. In fact, we are part of the solution to the economic challenges we face. Mm-hmm. We're part of the solution to the social problems we face, and we're definitely part of the solution for a future plan of the creation of great economic strength for our province. For example, the windmill. These wind powers will be coming into play, and we're working diligently on them. Mm-hmm. And you'll hear soon the hydro itself establishing the selection. And, of course, the Métis are pushing for 200 megawatts, and that's our Red River Métis Power Corporation that we have formed. And we have, in fact, the mayor of Selkirk sits on there, and other strong individuals from our community sit on that, along with myself. So it's a corporation that will be bidding on a $500 million project, mm-hmm. and we will get the resources necessary. We will become always majority owner, and it's going to be such a powerful thing for the direction mm-hmm. that hydro is finally taking. I know they could say, well, we did it before on our dams. We give away some of the power, some of the value of shares to First Nations, but those value of shares were like 5%, and it would take maybe 20, 30 years before they collect. This, right now, in our view, is we will become majority owner. I think that's the longevity of the thinking, great thinking by both the president of Hydro and at the same time with the Premier of Manitoba and the Minister, of course, of Hydro, which is Mr. Sala. So I really commend them for the vision of seeing that the First Nations, too, will become majority owners, mm-hmm. and we look forward to seeing where it'll take us and moving forward. I know it'll create a lot of jobs and a lot of opportunity. But let me speak now quickly in the budget. We had, of course, my Minister of Finance, Naomi Clarke, working on my behalf. I'm away on holidays right now. I'll be back on the 13th, mm-hmm. and I cut my holidays short because the Prime Minister is coming in, and I definitely want to sit down and have a chat with the Prime Minister regarding the recent announcement of the budget. But in the budget, you need to make it very clear. There's some good announcements. There's not Métis specific, First Nation or Inuit specific, which sometimes you get a little nervous about it because if it's specific, it means it's set aside for you. But I'm hoping that right now that the Prime Minister, and I'll get clarity on this when I meet with him, I will be meeting with him. Mm-hmm. So that's why I'm coming home early from the holidays. But I want to make it clear that there are things in this budget which can make change, and especially in housing. Mm-hmm. There's several billions of dollars set aside for Indigenous housing, and we'll have to find how we all share that opportunity. As we know, we're building an apartment block on Anderson Highway, and I want to build one down on Portage Avenue. Mm-hmm. And we're being pushed to look into Brandon and other cities and other locations across Manitoba. So in doing so, we put in an application some time ago. I had a good meeting with the Minister Robertson, the Minister of Housing, and we had a very good chat with the Deputy and other ministers, of course, since then. And in that process, we are pushing hard to get money set aside for shovel-ready operations. That's why in our strategy in our government, we bought land a long time ago. Mm-hmm. We saw that where the government wanted to go and needed to go. They wanted shovel-ready situations, not where you apply and say, okay, now I got to go find land, I got to go do this, I got to do that, which will take you years to establish sometimes to achieve that. So in our wisdom at the Métis government, we already bought the land. We set up our stage where our future developments will take place. Mm-hmm. Just like in Breezy right now, we have a transition center going up that the Métis Infinity Woman are sitting with. Mm-hmm. Very proud of that. And then even there, we're looking possibly of another apartment. But we'll say that to the long run because our first goal is on Anderson Highway. Mm-hmm. I think we've got a permit to take down the Roxy Lanes. And from there, we will look at, again, putting in the parking lots, putting in the building. I think it'll be 60 apartments, and then they'll have a daycare center and some offices in there. Oh. And so I'm looking forward to that. And another great advancement for our people to have good housing mm-hmm. and affordable housing that we could live in. So again, these major projects are of a national interest in my view. And so we're telling the federal government we want money to flow quickly. We need money to flow quickly. Mm-hmm. It can't be held back. And I think we're hearing that from the Prime Minister. They're expecting this money to flow very fast, very quick. So I encourage everybody to get themselves ready for this. And this is kind of the message I gave the Sovereign Chiefs Organization when I had a chance to speak. I was one of the guest speakers. And I did talk about how we can actually work together. How do we support each other? Let's use freshwater fish marketing, for example. You know, the majority of the people that fish and have been fishing for years is the Indigenous people, Métis and First Nation. Yet we never owned it. We had no say in it. We never had an opportunity to sell our own fish. I know there's attempts before. People say, well, it was attempted. Yes, it was attempted, but attempted in the wrong direction because freshwater never wanted a challenge. And if you look at Highland Lake, for example, up north, they had some authoritative powers to sell fish. But look at their location. Right. Location sometimes means so much in business. And they're way up north. So the cost of transportation, the cost of moving their product was a very high cost to their venture, which of course gave them some difficulty. So when you look at it, there was no supplement for sustaining ability to help them survive that opportunity they gave them. And they shouldn't have given us in the first place. It should be automatically ours. Because one of the things I'm challenging the provinces. You heard me say, the province, the federal government. You heard me say this on the show here already. We are tendering right now. I know Fisher River's tendering. We're tendering. I think some other chiefs also are tendering to try to, freshwater is up for sale by the federal government of Canada. And we've got, of course, private fishing industry also bidding for this. Now, here's the challenge. Freshwater holds a lot of money. It's got a big debt sitting on it, infrastructure that's rotting away, and so it's going to cost a lot of money. But my question to Canada, and I'm still seeking an answer, and I think First Nations will probably seek the same direction, as I said in my speech to SEO, how can the Canada Freshwater Corporation, which never was subsidized, never got no support from Canada, it was paid 100% by the back of fishermen, and from their revenue of catching fish, that's what ran the company. It was never subsidized like oil, gas, farming, mines, and all these other industries that Canada's sustained and supported. Freshwater was never supported. How can you sell something you never owned? Right. The fishermen own that. They paid for it. And then now we have about 90% of fishers are Indigenous people. Now, the question I asked at the meeting at the Southern Chiefs Organization, you know, it's not a number one economy to the young generation today, but to our people that still are in that industry, the self-made businesses that they own. That's why our people, it's part of their cultural identity, not just because they fish and earn a few dollars. It's part of the premise of owning your own business, making your own decisions, and controlling your own future. That was some of the, I think, the strength of why fishermen were so adamant about keeping this industry alive, because it struggled many, many years. But now there's an abundance of fish. There's a lot of money being made, but even then, they're making money at the lower end of payment by freshwater. The freshwater charges so much money, about 50% of their sales go to operate freshwater instead of 20% or 15%. They take 50%. Most businesses take 15%. Freshwater takes about 50%, which is crazy. They're robbing the fishermen. So we're looking at that and seeing how we should be bidding together instead of fighting each other, even if Fresh Fish or River won, or we want, or Prestige, which is an Ontario company that's bidding for this. And they're already in the business. They've been selling fish, and they were never under the auspices control by Freshwater. They're independent. So they got a lot of buyer chains set up already. We don't. So we'd have to find out if the same buyers will continue to buy from us if we bought it from Freshwater, and what happens to that registry of all the restaurants and businesses that buy the fish. So when you look at it, there's a lot to be done there. But at the end, we still got to come together somehow. And my message was to them, like, if you look at the economic challenge we face, we have First Nation businesses, we have Métis businesses, but do we go out of our way to support them? And that's what procurement in our government's all about. And I keep on pushing that hard to my managers and all my directors. And a lot of times, trust me, just because I'm the president of this media, listen to me. They find ways to get things done, shortcuts. Instead of, I use the sample because it's the easiest one. Say they need office supplies. Sometimes they'll go to Staples and get it. And we're saying, how does Staples help our people? How, are they going to give us back money? Of course not. You buy from a Métis business or a First Nation business that sells office supplies. That's how you help your businesses. The Jewish people have taught us that in their enterprises. The Italians, the Greeks, all of them support each other. Yeah. Now, we are the only ones that don't support each other. And so I'm pushing hard for my Métis businesses that are so many of them, over 800 or close to 1,000 probably across our homeland, that are registering with us. But how are you not buying from each other, supporting each other? Yeah. Why aren't you training yourself together? For example, benefits. Like a lot of these small businesses, and we have small businesses, can't really give a benefit program to their employees because they're so small. But what we're devising, creating in our future plans, is that we will I have a certain hard time saying certain words in my accent, but we're going to get them to come together, and so they can buy through the government, through the Métis government.
Okay.
And this way they can put a benefit program for their staff, enticing their staff to come work for them, that there'll be dental, there'll be optical, and all the other programs you're entitled to through a benefit program. So that's what we're trying to work with all of our 800 businesses, to line them up to support each other, and at the same time give their employees a good potential pension, a good plan, and a good support while they're working under their company. So there are so many different ideas that's coming from that, and I expressed that loud and clear to the Southern Chiefs Organization when I spoke there, and said we need to come together. We can't take Trump lightly. Trump is hurting our economy. We can't fool ourselves. And that's why in this budget you don't see such a broad directive of distinct base. That's the message I got from Canada already. They're telling me loud and clear, yes, you don't have distinct base in this one at this point in time, because right now the country is trying to establish the ability to compete against the United States. And we need to compete against the United States, or else we're all in trouble, every one of us in Canada. If there's a recession, hell is coming with a recession. Hard times are coming with a recession. A lot of layoffs are coming with a recession. Hardship will come with every business that exists in our country. So that's why I support the Prime Minister and the direction he's taking about national projects. And one of the things I'm proud of is Churchill. It's been mentioned now. It's in the budget. So Churchill is going to be a massive chance for all of us.
Oh, it's amazing.
And I hope this is not where we start fighting each other. I don't want to see the North saying, well, no, and the Chiefs and North, this is only for us. And then to the South Chiefs or to the Métis saying, no, you're not. You're secondary. We're first. That's not how it's going to work. It's going to be basically, we've got to be ready for it. We've got to support each other's businesses, train and help each other. We need to get ahead of the game. So Churchill is going to be billions and billions of dollars invested in that port. So we need to make sure that the economic opportunity that comes with it will be beneficial to First Nation and Métis. We've got to look at it that way. We've got to stand with each other, support each other. And so when you look at that, because national defense will be far behind, they'll be bringing billions of dollars to prepare and defend ourselves in case, as I said on the show, when you look at the north, you go to Nunavut in all that direction from the north, from Churchill north, and what's the closest country we should all be afraid of? Russia is just close right there. So if they're going to be an invasion, it could come from the north. So that's why Canada is now going to spend a lot of money in national defense. That means infrastructure, capital buildings, roads, infrastructure for the communities. So those opportunities are coming, and chance of employment is definitely there. So I'm proud of our Premier in Manitoba. He and I talked many a time about getting ready for this upcoming challenge we face. And we crossed our fingers that Churchill will be mentioned, and now it's part of the budget. So we need to work together on getting that in play, not against each other. So I'm going to keep on sending that message. I sent that message from the days of Rod Bushy when he was there. When he was the Grand Chief, I pushed that agenda. I pushed with every Grand Chief. And no one, they supported it independently. But as soon as it got to the executives of committees, they were against working with the Métis. I still don't understand to this life in my leadership and my style has always been to try to bring people together, strengthen our government, strengthen our unity of our operations, because we work together, our chances are we're going to do better for the next generation.
Yes.
Because this is really not about us. It's about the next generation having a new opportunity, a new play, a new ability to have a say in the future of this country. But if we don't prepare a young generation, whether it's education, getting ready for jobs, or getting ready to support each other's businesses, how in the hell do you expect them to do well? We're putting them in a very indirect way. We're hurting their future. So we've got to stand aside our jealousies, our dislikes, our personal agendas. This is about the future. And it's about getting the next generation ready. The young generation that's out there, they can't be sitting in the community wondering if they're going to get welfare or live on child special allowance money. They've got to get jobs. They've got to get opportunities. They've got to have a future.
Yeah.
They've got to wake up in the morning knowing that this is what I want to be, this is what I want to become. So in order to do that, you've got to give them the tools.
Yeah.
In order to help them give them the tools, we've got to show them leadership by working together. And that was my message with the Grand Chiefs and the chiefs that were at the function and businesses. And if they don't like my presentation, kudos to them, too bad. That's my position. I'm not changing my position. My cabinet supports me in that. We believe by working together, we're stronger.
Yeah.
And then we stand together, we're going to achieve great things for the next generation. But by fighting against each other, we give everybody else an opportunity to eventually drive us down.
Right.
And work against us and hurt us for the future. And we are the ones looking through the windows instead of us being in the building, letting people come into our buildings and our businesses that we own.
Yeah.
Get away. We're fighting each other, and the non-Indigenous society says right on, because now we continue to dominate, we continue to own, we continue to run. And a lot of the First Nation elders will tell you the same thing I'm telling you. My Métis elders will tell you the same thing. They've gone through this. Now we need to stand together and fight for it. So, anyways, that was my presentation to the Southern Chiefs Organization, and I talked briefly about our future of more and more pharmacies opening up. I hope First Nations would use our pharmacies as I would use theirs, and that we support each other. So we'll see where it takes us, but I will be meeting the Premier upon my return, and I'm looking forward to that meeting. And I'm going to be pushing hard on certain agendas, and particularly our apartments and other investments I want to see. And the youth funding is coming back, and a lot of our youth UPIP programs, there's a possibility we'll be able to get some. It's not a big budget, but if we can get a good share of that, we can start helping our young people in sports and other investments they need some. It's not big support either, but just enough for the parents to know that there's an opportunity for them to help each other and help the kids. So Bill 92 is coming up. I'm hoping that Canada will support that. I'll be raising that with the Prime Minister. Our treaty is coming up in the fall. It'll be announced in the fall session of Parliament, and I look forward to seeing it being passed unanimously. And other than that, Grey Cup, here we come. We're a big platinum sponsor. We have tickets for that, and I know that some people have asked me for those tickets. I will. Terry Smith's leading that right now, and we'll be there. Richard Kenai is our minister. He definitely will be there. And everything, in my view, is that you'll see the brand of the MMF flying heavily, and we'll showcase our great support to our province, to our country, and definitely to our beautiful city, Winnipeg. Now, I'll close off with this. There was a protest happening here. I'm in Portugal on my holidays because I won't go to the United States. Usually I have a timeshare in the United States. I did not take because I will not go and support Trump. But anyways, there was a protest against Putin from the Ukrainian society that was here. They had a bunch of flags, and guess who was in the protest? The little old Métis leader was in Portugal in a protest with Ukrainians against what Russia is doing to Ukraine. So I was there to carry the flag, stood with them for a while, and smiled and showed them some of our pictures that our buildings still carry the Ukrainian flag above our buildings, and we show our support to Ukraine, that the hostile attempt takeover by Putin is not supported by our people, and that it is a wrong thing for the country to let Putin continue to disperse so many Ukrainian families, the babas, the children, the elders, and killing them with for no reason other than greed. So with that, I'll say goodbye, but at least I attended a protest in Portugal, so I'm very proud of that.
Yes.
So we'll talk to you guys, Ollie. Talk to you guys. I'll see you guys November 16th at the Great Site L'Oreal. Then I'll see others at the Grey Cup. And I think we gave away Grey Cup tickets last show. I think we did that. I'm not sure. If we did, somebody tell me, remind me, because I make sure the tickets are available. I'll talk to you guys next Saturday. And again, to my people, I'm so proud of who we are. And no matter where I go, I brag about our flag, brag about who we are. And I'll continue to say that we're a proud people, and nobody in hell is going to take that from us.
Thank you.
I'll talk to you guys next Saturday.
Thank you for absolutely everything, President Chartrand. That's amazing. The report was amazing, and to hear of all the everything you have on the table and all that you're doing. Thank you. And my dad was a commercial fisherman, my mom and dad, so I'm totally on board with this freshwater fish. I hope that you can purchase it. I mean, I hope that it happens. It would be amazing.
No, and the great thing is the First Nation Métis came together to try to buy together. But again, why are we buying something we paid for since 1960s? We've been paying into freshwater's operation. But anyways, I'll keep that story and that information till next show.
Okay.
So you guys take it easy and let some other callers in. And I'm proud that Donovan's going to come on the show, and we'll talk to you guys next Saturday.
Okay, safe travels.
Okay, bye-bye.
Okay, bye.